Here on the Trading Coach podcast, we talk a lot about accelerating your wealth, not just through trading, but by finding other forms of supplemental income as well. Well, an easy way to do that is by sharing your story by using Spotify for podcasting. Not only do they allow you to record and edit right from your phone or computer, but they'll also shoot it out everywhere that podcasts are heard and even pay you to do it, which still doesn't make sense, but hey, we'll take it, right? Video podcasts are also available as well, which is a really cool option if you're into sharing your charts and stuff like that. Best of all, it's free. So as someone who measures risk reward for a living, this is a no-brainer. So if you're ready to create, don't wait. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app right now, or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Speaking of getting started, let's get started with the show. Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to the Trading Coach podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the power of compounding and really shifting the mindset to understand that a slower approach to making money will actually be faster than a faster approach to making money. Now, that may be confusing right now, but trust me, it will make sense. Listen to the podcast. Let me know what you think. I got a question from Lee this morning, or maybe a comment from Lee this morning that I wanted to address, because I actually just put out a little short deal about the power of compounding and how I didn't really realize the true power of compounding until I actually literally wrote it down. And, back then I was younger, so I was dealing with a lot of impatience as well. But I want to talk about it a little bit because it is amazing if you do things the right way. But you have to do things the right way. And the question that Lee wrote was, he said, hey, I was playing around with a paper trading account, which is great that you're playing around with a paper trading account and not a live account. And I managed to get it up to 600K last night on Bitcoin. My question is, if I have a live account, and let's say I have 100 pounds in the account and I take a long position based on my strategy. However, price dips temporarily to say negative 1,000 pounds, then later on goes to plus 1,000 pounds. Will I be stopped out by the broker on a cash account before I'm able to reach profit? And my answer was yes. Yeah, you will be taken out. You're not going to be allowed to go into the negative and then, come back into the positive, right? In most cases, right, if you have a margin account, you're going to be taken out well before you even get to the negative. So we can't play the game where it's like, hey, we buy something, we go massively into the negative as far as our account goes, and then survive the positive, right? Those games just can't be played. But the bigger issue here is the mindset. Now, it's one thing to understand that we take a trade and we have a stop loss, and it means that we're negative in the trade, right? That's a normal thing. You take a trade at 157.55 and price, you take a long trade at 157.55 and price goes down to 157.45 and you're in the negative for that trade. The difference is you're not in the negative for your account, right? And you've taken into account whatever risk that you decide to take on for that trade. And in that risk is most likely within a certain percentage. So for me personally, I can never lose any more than 2% per trade. That is the absolute max. So my risk and my position size is created so that, hey, if I dip below 2%, obviously it's there for a technical reason, but I can only lose so much. There's never any situation where I can go into the negative of my trading account. And this is the scary thing. This is the scary thing that happens, especially with kind of demo trading, maybe not demo trading, but kind of like paper trading, eye test trading, is that people just let it ride and it ends up working in their favor. And how do I know this? Because I used to do the same thing. So back when I first started trading, this is before I knew about really stop losses and margins. I was just kind of like looking at it with my eyeball and putting little notes in saying, hey, I would buy here. And I never lost the trade early on. Why? Because I would just wait until something returned to positive, right? I would take a trade, let's say it would go, if it went in my favor, of course I was super trader. If it went against me, I would just hold it for a day, hold it for a few days, hold it for a few weeks. And then once it got into the positive, I was like, oh, look at that, made money. This trading stuff is easy. Never taking into account that I would actually be stopped out. And it was a very dangerous game because it gave me this false expectation. Needless to say, when I tried that in real life with real money, do you know what happened? Yeah, I learned about margin very quickly. I thought I'd do the same thing where I just buy it, I'd hold it, I'd come back to my computer screen, a little pop-up would be there that says, you have hit your margin limits, you've been closed out of all your trades. And I'm like, margin? What's this? And this is a true story. I literally had to Google margin. Me and Jason Stapleton did a video about this back in the Trade Empowered days, because this was a real story where I was literally at my desk and I left for whatever many days and weeks. I would come back and watch it. But one day I came back and there was a pop-up that said, you have hit margin call. You've been removed from all your trades. And I did not know what margin call was. So I had to Google it and I was like, margin, what is this margin thing? And I was like, oh, this is that margin thing. Apologies for the humming in the background. Again, I told my landscaper that I wouldn't teach him for free. So now he comes and cuts my grass only during the live sessions. But the fact of the matter is, the right mindset for trading is, we don't want to be that risk it for the biscuit trader. We don't want to be that trader that holds and holds and holds for the big pop, because all that's going to do is end us up broke. And the worst thing that can happen is that you have initial success, that you place a trade and you win doing this habit, and then you place another trade and you win doing this habit, and you start forming the mindset that it's okay for me to kind of buy, hold, and absorb all this risk to the downside because it will always come back up. And the truth is that it won't. And I've met traders that have done this for years, unfortunately, with some very directional markets. Crypto has been one of them. And all it takes, they spent years kind of growing their account, and all it takes is one bad slip up and they've blown everything. And some of these traders have kind of made lifestyle changes because they thought that they were like super traders and they no longer needed their job, and they're going to go full time. And now I don't know what they're doing right now. They don't like me very much because I told them it was a bad idea the entire time, and they told me that I was just like a hater and stuff like that. So we don't really have those relationships. But you have to be careful with that mindset. I don't know if you guys watched the show Beef. Me and my wife just started watching the show Beef. Really weird show, but addictive. And one of the guys in Beef, same thing. Like, his brother was making all this money on crypto. And then, of course, he's like, no, crypto's stupid. You can't do that. That's gambling. So what does he do? Because he's in a kind of a bad situation in life. Well, he gets like a $20,000 loan, puts it right into crypto. Boom. He's ready to become a crypto millionaire, change his life. Next day, guess what happens? Boom. Loses all of it. Now he's in a bigger hole and bigger trouble and whatnot. So the approach that we need in trading is a slow and steady approach. Like I mentioned earlier, we need to understand that as traders, the main goal is we're doing this for the long game, right? We are in a long game of compounding, where it's like, how can I slowly just build my account methodically? And it's not sexy. It doesn't really make you feel too great at first, but over time you'll notice some big differences. And in the shorts video I put out this morning, I said, if you get a moment, literally write it down. So write down, you can do it in years. I like doing it in months, but you can do it years and months. But write down, maybe 48 months, something like that, 50, 60 months, whatever many years, a 5-year deal, right? 60 months. And then put in what you think your average return is. If you know your average return, you can put that in. If you have an idea for an average return goal, put that in as well. But see what types of difference it makes, right? So I did a quick chart this morning where I just started with a $5,000 account, right? And I did month by month, averaging 2% return on investment a month, right? So it took me to double my account, right? This is the non-sexy part, where the curve is like a J curve, where it starts off very shallow and then shoots up. It took me till month 36, really 35, to double my account. So basically, 3 years? to double my account. This is no money manager or anything like that. Just a straight 2% return. Not obviously you can accelerate this stuff with money management strategies like the smooth ratio deal we teach you here at tier1trading.com, or you can accelerate it by putting more money in. So each year, each month, each quarter, whatever it may be, you're going to invest in yourself by, maybe taking a couple $100 or whatever it is out of your paycheck and putting it into your trading. There's ways to accelerate this, and that's the real secret. But just kind of bare bones, 3 years to double your account. Now, you talk to many people about 3 years, they're going to say that's a waste of time, right? If I told you, hey, Cherry, Steve, you can double your money, but it's going to take 3 years, right? 3 years of hard, frustrating, discouraging, time-consuming work. You're probably like, no, I'm not taking that deal, right? YouTube ad guy said I can do it in 3 months. Why would I do it in 3 years, right? But it's that patient game. This is the safe way to do it. YouTube guy, you may double your account in 3 months, but then you may blow it the next day. And the question is that if you're trying to establish something that is going to help you for the long term, right? Bigger picture, not a quick fix, not a Band-Aid over a leaky faucet, right? You want to be safe on the back end. You want to ensure that you have minimal chance of losing anything, right? So 3 years to double your account for the first time, right? But then to triple it, right? That's only going to take what? About a year and a half after that? To quadruple it, so to take it from $5,000 to $20,000, you're looking at month what? I have month 71. How many months is that? 5, that's 6 years. Right? So what you'll see is that as you go on in time, the way compounding works is it takes less and less time to make more and more because you're doing it with a higher account balance. And that's the glory. And if you ask any trader that's been trading for any amount of time, they'll tell you that, hey, I'm making these type of returns now, like not percentage wise, but monetarily speaking. But it wasn't like that in the beginning. It was only after you established that foundation and then all of a sudden being consistent with making that same percentage, having limited risk to the downside, that's what allows those big booms to happen, or those bigger booms to happen, while still maintaining the same amount of risk taking, not adding more risk. And that's the biggest problem that traders make. They want to make more, but in order to make more, they add more risk. And that's a very dangerous game because, again, it helps you out when things are going your way. But when things aren't going your way, boom, you're back to zero. And now you got to start the process over. And now you're back at month 1. And before you know it, it's been 3, 4, 5, 6 years, right? The time that you could have actually used to double, triple, quadruple your account, but you're in the same place as you were when you started. And the worst thing about that is then you look back and you do the coulda, shoulda, woulda, and you're like, man, if I just would have done this the right way, I would have been here instead of there. But it's so hard for many of us to think bigger picture, and that's a problem in all aspects of life. So wanted to touch on that just because, again, I think it's a mindset that needs to be changed. It needs to be changed right away. And I think the quicker that you can change that mindset, same thing with the process over outcome deal, the quicker you'll get on the right track, because mindsets do harm us. Mindsets do kill us. They create this false kind of perception of things, and that false perception blinds us to the things that really matter. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm all over social media, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Akil Stokes RTM. You can shoot me a message. I will respond. However, I would say this, if anyone shoots you a message first, it's probably a fake account. There's lots of them out there. If they contact you, block them, report them, shoot me a screenshot. That way I can warn others. Again, if anyone contacts you first, and specifically if they ask about like managing money or crypto or anything like that, it is not me. Report, block, share.